Hello and welcome to your practice today. Today is part 3 in the series called Expand Your Perspective. Expand Your Perspective is about creating a sense of creativity and innovation in the mind. It's about creating a shift in the way that we're currently thinking or allowing ourselves to see things from like a different and new perspective, to shed light on something. So the peak pose is the upward facing wide angle pose, which is a balance pose on the sitting bones with the legs open in a wide straddle position. So it requires a lot of abdominal strength and focus and concentration in the mind, as well as flexibility in the inner legs and the backs of the legs. So we're going to work toward that throughout our practice today. You can place the blocks at the front short side of the mat, and then you can come to tabletop position. There's a chance you may want to strap also, and that can also go to the front short side. Okay, so let's start by coming to tabletop position. Okay, let's just take a round or two of cat-cow pose, and then we'll start to integrate some leg work. So inhale, start to release the belly down toward the floor, lifting and elevating through the heart. And then exhale, rounding through the spine. Inhale, release the belly, cow tilt. As you're taking that exhalation, really think about drawing the belly button in toward the spine, almost using that as though like you're going to squeeze out all of the last air from the very bottom of the lungs. Inhale, come to neutral. We're going to let the weight shift into the right knee and send the left leg back. First, you can kickstand the foot, ball of the left foot on the mat, and just do a couple pulses. That'll start that opening up through the backs of your legs. Okay. As that left heel starts to rack up, draw your belly button into the spine and then start to float the left leg up, lifting it a little higher than parallel so that the belly button starts to tip down again. And then the chin can slightly lift so you open the throat. We're going to do some knee contractions here to strengthen the abdominal muscles. So as you exhale, you're going to curl your left knee in. It can come to left ribs, but also feel free to take it to left elbow. You may find one of those works better for your body shape. Inhale, send the left leg back behind you, releasing the belly down, elevating through the heart, and then exhale, curling in. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, up and back. Release the belly, lift the heart. Last one on this side. Inhale, send your left leg up and back. Exhale, set the left knee down. Sway your hips from side to side. We're going to do that exact same flow on the second side. So ground into your left knee. Reach your right leg out. Ball of the foot roots down into the mat. And then just start to pulse the left heel a few times. Bringing that opening up through the sole of the foot, through the back of the ankle, up through the calf. Next time the right heel starts to rock up, we're going to keep it there, begin to engage through the abdominals and start to float the right leg up higher than parallel. So start to release the belly button and then exhale, curl your right knee in to the ribs or to the elbow. And then inhale, send your right leg up. Exhale, curl in. 2 more times. Inhale, float the right leg up. Exhale to curl in. Inhale to extend outward. Last one. Exhale to curl in. Inhale to reach the right leg back out, and exhale to set the right knee down and to sway out the hips from side to side. We're going to do some downward facing dog pulses now. So we're going to start in table and we're going to alternate between tabletop with cow tilt and downward facing dog to warm up the backs of the legs a little more. So inhale, let your belly button start to release down to the floor. And as you're exhaling, draw your belly in and then lift your knees away from the floor, sending your sitting bones nice and high up into the downward dog. Okay, and then lower the knees back down. Inhale, lower, release the belly down, lift up through the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take the knees down to the floor, release the belly down to the mat, lift up through the heart. Again, downward facing dog, engaging the belly, allowing the lift into down dog to come from the engagement of the belly region, the hands and the feet. One more time. Inhale, tabletop, release the belly, lift through the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now hold and breathe. So just walk out through your legs as you're taking those nice, slow, deep breaths. Feeling the breath at the back of the throat. Okay, and then letting yourself start to find some stillness. Inhale, let your heels lift high away from the floor. And then exhale as you send your heels back down toward the mat. And then inhale, let your heels lift high away from the floor. And exhale, settle those heels back down toward the floor. One more time. Inhale, let the heels lift away from the floor. And exhale, settle them back down toward the mat. Now we're going to let the weight come into the left foot. We're going to send the right heel up into downward facing dog split. So breathe in, lift the right leg up to the sky. And then as you're exhaling, curl your right knee into your chest. You can step your foot by your right wrist. And then we're going to be spinning everything around to face the long side. So feel free, you can always bring those blocks with you if you like a little extra height. Turn the 10 toes to face the left side of the mat as you start to move the hands so that way they're underneath of the shoulders. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to start with is just a couple halfway lifts here. So inhale, reach out long through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, begin to bend at your elbows and start to fold the body forward. So you feel a stretch through the backs of the legs, but also the outside of the calf region maybe. And then inhale, lift through the spine halfway. That's a dynamic movement here just to warm up the tissues of the body. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, take the spine halfway. Stay there. Put a little bend in your knees and really engage the belly button into the spine so you feel a good sense of strength at the core of the body. Slide the hands to the hips, press down and rise up until your shoulders are over your hips. Spinning both your heels in and all 10 toes out, prayer hands come to the heart. And then you're going to keep the prayer hands together, but you're going to let your heels of your hands go away from one another. So it ends up to be just the fingerprints pressing in toward one another. Press the fingerprints, let the elbows open slightly, and then begin to pulse the legs. So just doing a little goddess pulsation here, letting the sitting bones sink down, and then pressing the feet so there's a slight straightening. Relax through the shoulders. Last few times. Okay, after this next one, we'll rise up momentarily. Place the hands to the hips, spin the 10 toes to face the long side of the mat. Now have you take your peace fingers and your thumbs, lightly bring them together. Other three fingers are extended, star shape. So press your feet. Your body resembles like an X. Take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale it out through the mouth. Deep breath in, sigh it out. Release the gesture of the hands, float the arms back out to the side, spin the heels in, spin the toes out, sink the hips down, goddess squat. Inhale, sweep those arms open out to the sides of the room. Exhale, lean your left forearm onto your left thigh, and maybe sweep that arm by the ear, hand to hip, or hand to top shoulder. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, lean your right forearm out onto your thigh and arc over. Inhale as you float through the center. Exhale, lean the forearm to the thigh, arc over. Inhale to the center. Exhale, lean to one side. We're going to go one more time each way. So inhale, come back up to the center, and then exhale, tip over. Inhale, come back to the center, and then exhale to lean. Inhale, come back to the center. Straighten your knees, spin all 10 toes to face the long side. Index finger and thumbs come together in that gesture of wisdom. Flip your palms up. Create the shape of an X here. Take your tailbone slightly down. 2 letting go breaths. Breathe in through the nose and sigh it out on the exhale. Breathe in. Release the gesture, release the hands. Hands are going to come to hips now. Inhale, draw the elbow points back, lift up through the heart. Exhale, begin to come forward. So you're going to reach out through the crown of the head, let a little extra weight shift into the balls of the feet. Release your hands down to your blocks. Now we're going to do some ninja flow here. So you're going to spin those heels in and spin those toes out. And you can move your blocks along with you, or you're just maybe simply walking the hands toward one foot. So let's say right foot maybe first. Bend your right knee. And you might even possibly rock up onto your left heel. So you just have to see how low you go is going to be determined by the openness in the inner legs. You might be a little higher if the inner legs feel a little bit, the tissue feels a little restricted. And then you're just going to start to slide your hips from side to side. So you can go somewhat slow, right? So think slow flow. A few more times. So I like to keep my hands down sometimes just so I can get a stronger opening in the legs and prep for the pose. But a good flow too is to bring the hands up to the heart. That's going to help build the abdominal strength that's actually needed for the pose. So feel free, maybe take a round or two with hands to heart. Okay. And so as you're ready, your hands will be coming down. You're going to end up walking your hands back over to that right foot. So you're going to bring your hands around. You're going to frame your right foot. And you're going to spin off that back left heel. We're going to step the right foot back into downward facing dog. Okay, so we're going to do those same knee contractions that we did at the beginning, but we're going to do them now from downward facing dog. So feel free, lower your knees and take the tabletop version again. Otherwise, let the weight go into the right ball of the foot, and then inhale, send the left heel up. into downward facing dog. And then as you're exhaling, you're going to curl your left knee into the ribs or into the elbow. You're going to press really strong into your hands because you want to create that cat spine in your back. And then inhale, send the left heel back up. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, send the left heel back up. Exhale, curl it in. Press your hands really round in your back body. Inhale, send the left heel up. We're going to do one more on this side. Exhale, curl the left knee in. Press your hands around your spine. Inhale, send the left heel back up. As you're exhaling, set the left foot down. Take your knees down to the mat. We're going to come into forearm planks. So you're going to bring your forearms down to the mat. You can bring your hands together in prayer, or you can interlock them together. You can take the modified forearm plank by walking the knees back so that you're in a knee down version. You can also anchor the balls of the feet and maybe float the knees away from the floor. Now you want to watch, because when it gets hard, what tends to happen is the head tends to go forward like I'm doing right now. So you can get a tiny bit of arch in the back, which is totally fine. But you want to see if you can keep reaching out through the crown of the head and minimize the arch, right? So if you have a little arch, it's like the baby St. Louis arch, right? So take another inhale and another exhale. If the knees are up, lower them down. Bring the belly and the chest down. So you're going to come into crocodile shape. So spin the elbows out a little farther. Stack your palms. Rest your forehead on your stacked palms. Bend your knees so heels come toward the buttocks and sway the legs. We're going to do a locust, and then we're going to repeat those poses on the second side. You're going to slide your hands down under your chest as your feet come back down to the floor. Usually I will start with my hands almost right under my shoulders, but then I go down an inch or two. Hug the elbows in, start to draw the tailbone down. You might notice your chest just starts to automatically elevate a bit, and then you can float your legs away from the floor. Now the hands can always stay down on the mat. You can also float the hands away from the floor. So you'll notice it's a little more challenging. You might feel your back muscles fire up a little bit more if you're not using the assistance of your hands. But hands down is really great, and it's very supportive for the back. So take what works. Breathe in. Exhale. Everything's coming down. Stack your palms. Rest your forehead. Bend your knees. Windshield wiper your legs. We're about to repeat all those poses on the second side. So we're going to let the feet come back down. Slide the hands under the chest. Press up all fours. Okay, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Take any adjustments on your mat that you need. Walk your legs out if you like. Okay, we're going to shift the weight into the left ball of the foot. We're going to do those contractions on the second side, so feel free to do these from table. Inhale, right leg goes up. Exhale, you're going to curl your right knee into your chest. Press into your hands and round through your spine. Inhale, send your right heel back up. Exhale, curl your right knee in toward chest. 2 more times. Inhale, send the right heel up. Exhale, curl your right knee in. Inhale, right heel's gonna go up. And exhale as you curl the knee in. Inhale as your right leg goes back up. Exhale as you set the right ball of the foot down on the floor. Lower your knees to the mat in preparation for forearm plank. Come down to your elbows, come down to your forearms, put your hands in prayer, interlock them. You can stay on the knees, so inch the knees back, okay, or press really strong into the balls of the feet. and elevate and float your knees. Draw the belly in. Relax through your eyes. Feel the generation of heat, building of warmth. All right. After your exhale, lightly lower your knees. Bring the body down. Let the elbows start to spin out a bit. Take crocodile. Bend your knees. Pull your heels to your buttocks and sway your legs. Let your legs come down, feet come down, slide your hands so that they're underneath of your chest and then maybe 1 to 2 inches down. Draw your elbows in and your tailbone down. Feel your chest start to elevate. Feet start to elevate. Stay here, float your hands. Pausing for another few moments. Let your hands come down, let your feet come down. Stack your palms, draw your heels in toward your buttocks. One more sway here. Okay, let your feet come down and then slide your hands under your chest. You're going to press up all fours. Now we're going to bring the body around to seated position. So you can take your blanket and you can fold it up. And you can even sit facing the long side of the mat and facing out toward those yoga blocks. So you're going to come to sit on the edge and then you're going to extend out through your left leg while your right knee bends. So you have half wide angle. And we're going to do a side bend here. So press out through your left heel. I find elevating the pelvis slightly on the blanket is really helpful. And you want to have those yoga blocks out in front of you. So stretch your arms up by your ears. Exhale, bring your left hand down. And we're going to lean over. An alternative position for the right hand is right hand to shoulder or right hand to hip. Right arm by the ear is also a possibility, but that's a little more strenuous on the shoulder. And if there's any imbalance in the shoulder, sometimes we can get a lot of numbness or tingling down the arm. So just pay attention to all of that. So we want to arc over and at the same time feel the right knee reaching down toward the floor so that you open up through the inner right space from like the upper thigh down to the inner knee. All right, and then breathe in and come back up. Fingertips reach up. You're going to exhale, start to let your hands come down onto the yoga blocks as you're leaning your torso forward. So you have a stronger stretch now in the inner left leg and feel free to walk the blocks out a little more. Take your last exhale. And then inhale, start to come back up. You're going to lean the weight back into your hands, upping out your legs. Send your right leg out. Bend your right knee so the heel's lining up with the center of the body. Then we're going to inhale, let the arms start to reach up and along the sides of the face. And we're going to exhale, bring the right hand down and take the side stretch. Left hand can come to shoulder or even to the hip. The right side of the body contracting a bit as the opening is on the top left side. After this next exhalation, inhale, let your body come back up to the center, fingertips reach up. Exhale, bring your hands down to the blocks. We're going to slide the hands and the blocks forward, coming into that opening for the inner right leg. Okay, last exhale. Inhale and start to bring the body back up. All right, so I'm going to turn to face the front short side. You can actually even stay facing the direction that you're facing, but you may want to come off your blanket or at least flatten it out. So the first shape I like to take is just that upward bound angle position. This is a good core strengthener. And you can use a strap or you can hold your feet. I'm going to show both. So with this strap, you end up looping the strap along the outer edges of your feet, rocking back onto the sitting bones and holding the strap so that it's almost like you're extending your arms, right? But otherwise, you can hold your ankles or you can draw your legs in a little closer to the body and hold the feet. Okay. So one thing to notice is the round in the back. You do want to see if you can get more length in your spine than I have currently right in this moment. So you draw the hands into the strap or into the feet and notice that's going to shift the weight on the sitting bone. So when you're rounded, you're more to the back of the pelvis and the back of the sitting bones. And then when you start to come forward, it's a little more of a balancing act. It's not quite as stable, but you do get more length in your spine. So remember those knee contractions that we did, even though we're not rounding in the spine here, see if you can create that same kind of energy in the center of the body. Okay, take another inhale. And then as you're exhaling, just let the legs start to come down to the floor. You can lean some weight into the hands, point the knees to the sky, and then rock those knees from side to side and the windshield wipers. Okay, we're going to go into upward wide angle now, but you have the option to stay in the floating bound angle. Now, I'll initially go into this with the strap. I find that that is the most accessible way, but you can always, if you know this pose well, you can catch hold of your feet, outer edges, or peace fingers around big toes. We're going to lean back. We're going to float the feet. Now, you can stay here, or the second version is the upward happy baby. So you start to widen your feet on the strap or hold your outer edges of your feet and you're in the happy baby shape, but you're just upright, right? And so we're drawing those hands into the strap. And as you do that, lifting through the heart. So you can stay right here. Remember the abdominal muscles that we engaged in poses like forearm plank and knee to chest, right? You can also slide the hands out and you might be able to take those feet a little wider. Remember, you can hold the outer edges of your feet or peace fingers around the big toes. Okay, lift through the heart. Such a beautiful pose. It creates steadiness and balance, but lightness and ease as that heart shines upward toward the sky. See if you can relax your shoulders, let go of any struggle because we have those other versions of the pose we can come back to. Okay, one more round of inhale and exhale. Okay, start to come back through that happy baby position. Let the feet start to come down. You're gonna lean some weight into your hands. You're gonna rock the knees from side to side. Right, bound angle forward fold. So you can always feel free to sit back up on that edge of the blanket again to roll the pelvis slightly forward, help you get lots of length through your spine. Draw your heels in towards your inner groin. Just going to hold on to the fronts of the shin, fronts of the ankle bones, or even hands to floor. We're just going to lean the body forward. So you might feel the pose on the inner thighs. I actually end up feeling it a lot on the outer hips. So it's going to depend on, what muscles are holding a little more restriction. Okay, taking your last inhale and exhale here. All right, and then starting to bring the body back upright. I'm going to turn to face you for a moment. You can stay facing the direction you are facing. Okay, you're going to stay sitting up on the edge of your blanket. You are going to take your legs in that cross leg position and interlock your hands. You're going to send your index fingers up and you're going to take your right thumb and cross it on top. Now relax your elbows in toward the sides of your chest. Point the index fingers up toward your throat. This is a gesture associated with clearing, associated with transformation. It points right up to that throat space, which sometimes is seen as the channel between the heart and the wisdom of the mind. So we're going to take some letting go breaths here. So you might even close your eyes, just take a deep breath in and then exhale, sigh it out. Deep breath in, sigh it out. Deep breath in. One more time. Inhale and exhale through the nose. Maintain the gesture for another round or two of breath. As you're ready, release your hands. Let the backs of your hands come down to your thighs. Palms facing up or maybe connecting index finger and thumb. Take your last final deep round of breath here in this shape. Let your hands come together at your heart. The light within me sees and bows to that same light that exists within you.